RN Jesus, who art in matchmaking, luck be thy name, thy random distribution come, thy draw be done, in friendly as it is in ranked. Give us this day our favorable matchup, and forgive us our mono red, as we forgive those who pick mono red against us. And lead us not into card starvation, but protect us from mana flood, for thine is the draw, and the mana, and the top deck with pure skill. Amen. This little poem you just heard was submitted on our forums by Bazarian, and after reading this, I was so enlightened that I had to bring it up. And you know what? I really should have said this prayer before the start of this tournament, and perhaps things would have turned out differently. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The Fuzz is here, and this is part 1 of 3 of the second Asperia Cup. My god, what an experience it was. So, from the length, you can probably tell that I played a lot of games. I did end up coming in second behind Kindle in a series of some of the most soul-crushing games I've ever experienced, but we'll get to that later. That'll be in part 3. So anyways, the tournament format was an interesting one. We still did Conquest, best of 3 with ban, although the final match was best of 5, so no banning. The double elimination, on one hand, I really like the idea, the fact that you can lose a game, but still come back and maybe win, which is exactly what Kindle ended up doing. But on the other hand, this extended the rounds considerably, because after I secured my spot in the grand final, Kindle had to wait like over an hour before he got his opponent, and then after that, only then he got to play me. So I waited like an hour and a half after my round 5 before we finally faced off. So that's a bit of an issue. Definitely a little bit too long. So I guess we'll have to go back to Swiss, which is a shame, because one issue with Swiss is that you sometimes do lose a game, and if you lose a game early on, you might not even ever get to play the guy who took first place. So it seems like you lost to this guy, but you never even faced him. Oh well. But besides that, one thing that has definitely made an impact on this tournament was our lovely friend Divine Offering. There were several critical matches where Divine Offering actually made a huge impact. In one game that was streamed by Giotto, I think, Clone missed like 1 or 2 Divine Offerings against Kindle, which just led to him having a horrible game. Kindle himself missed 1 little Divine Offering in one of our key games, and it turned out to make a huge difference. And then I missed Divine Offerings against him, and that made a huge difference. So basically what we're saying is, Divine Offering is having an impact on these tournaments. A little bit of bad luck here or there, or a little bit of good luck can just decide a critical game, and that's a real shame. Now, I know that Divine Offering cannot really be improved beyond what it is. It can never be perfect. I just wish that you never went behind on mana when playing it, because that's really the most punishing thing. Falling behind on the mana and not being able to develop as quickly as your opponent is really more punishing than anything, even losing the card. So I'm just going to throw out a suggestion out there right now, which was posted on the forums as well, is that if you miss a Divine Offering Shrine, you get a special shrine, which is played only for mana, but does not give you a card. That way you don't fall behind on mana, but you just still lose a card. But enough about that. The 3 decks that I brought with me were Burke, the Uncontainable, Hermelion, the Hand of Justice, and the Blue Genie, Lady of something or other. I was originally going to bring Elric, what's his name? Keanu Reeves, our good friend Keanu, but I wanted to play something aggressive, even though I don't think this deck is like that great. But, you know, when you're going aggressively, sometimes you just win, because your opponent can handle it. In this deck, it did alright, but its issue was often that if you didn't have a crushing advantage early on, you often could get in trouble. If your opponents can stabilize with Phoenixes and stuff, you just often can get through, because your only ways to deal heavy damage are Ramgak and Dragonfire. And if you don't get those, it can be pretty bad. Perhaps putting 4 Ramgaks was a mistake, because if you do have more than one, and it's a bad time to play a Ramgak, well, then you have several bad cards. But again, I just designed this deck to be as aggressive as possible. But hey, it wasn't so bad. It was mostly to test the hero power, to see how it measures up against the other 2 heroes, and I would say it's maybe a little bit more useful than basic Zash, but certainly not even in the same league as Advanced Zash. But then again, Advanced Zash is more for like control and stuff. But no, Advanced Zash is much better than this. Hermelion, probably my favorite deck. Just the idea of building these huge boards and then going for these ridiculous turns with the hero power was a lot of fun. I think the mistake I made with this deck is 4 Vigors and 4 Ambushes was probably too much, because against some decks, like especially Zash, you often can't keep a creature on the board because they just remove everything you play, and so all these ambush strikes are just kind of dead. Word of Vigor, I think, is still worth keeping because the buff is permanent. So if you buff a 3 health creature, it has 4 health, or if you buff a Treant, it's much harder to kill, whereas this is just temporary, and it's really just used as extra damage during the turn you use your hero power, but maybe a little bit to win more. So perhaps cutting Ambush Strike completely would have been a good idea. And Cavalry Field Captain often ended up not being as good as I thought, because the only 2-drop I could actually play was the Elf Warrior, and if the Elf Warrior got killed, the Captain just didn't have a target. So 4 Captains probably wasn't the greatest idea. Other than that, probably running 4 of these would have been the right choice, because having Swift is very important, because then you can play Swift and then the Fae, and then immediately be able to do some big damage to your opponent. But I digress. This deck was still fun to play, and I'll probably still continue playing it until I find the right balance. And good old Elrike, she's just really solid. She got banned more than my other guys, and I can see why. It's just a really solid deck with just good cards. You've got a lot of card draw. You've got sticky creatures like Protector. You got Library Guards for more card draw. Great removal. The Phoenix, the super value creature, and you even got a Red Dragon for late game. It's just good across the board. And this deck I think did the best of the 3 that I played. Well, they all did fairly well, but this one was just the most consistently decent because of just how it rolls. And I can't really think of any changes I would make to this one, really. I think it's fine as it is. Maybe you could take out the Ancient Wisdoms and just put in actual cards, but there wasn't anything I really needed at the time. But anyways, the first 2 rounds, because those are the only ones that are going to be in this part, it will be too long otherwise. My first opponent was PewQ, and my second opponent was Smogan. So let's see how those guys did. Well, we already know that I won every game up until I faced Kindle, and then I experienced an apocalypse. But hey, we'll get to that later. So anyways, enjoy these first 2 opponents, and let's get rolling. Gonna kick things off with Burke, the Uncontainable, going up against the probably Wisdom Dominion. Let's see what we got. What do we got? I got 2 1-drops on Ramgak. That's pretty good. By the way, all these videos I'm commenting are happening after the tournament. All the commentary is like a day late, because after the tournament I had other stuff I had to do and I just didn't have the time to put it all together. So anyways, looks like I got a pretty good opening. We got Gibbo and Roni for turn 3. Or a Looter, depending on what he plays. If he doesn't put up a defensive card, a Looter is an option to draw cards, which is always good. We got 4 damage on board. So we're in pretty good shape here to take this game 1. Although, the funny thing is, people in chat were saying how screwed I was because PewQ was like apparently like the top tier Hearthstone player or the top tier something else player, and that I was just gonna miserably die. But I managed to survive. But that's the nature of card games. You know, you can have a good deck, you can be playing really well, and sometimes just a little bit of bad luck does you in. So here I'm just swinging all out. Yeah, he's gonna get 2 for 1 kind of with his Protector, but at this point I'm just going for damage. And we do wanna get the Chilov so I can start dropping some Looters for card draw. It's gonna be Looter next turn and then probably Ramgak. Well, maybe, yeah, we want to play Ramgak on curve when we get the chance. He's probably going to play Library Guards here. I don't remember exactly how these games went. But that's the most likely turn 4 play for any Wisdom Dominion. When he attacks first, he gets another kill. That's pretty fair. Not a problem. He doesn't do anything else, though, so that's kind of bad. Wait, did he just miss Divine Offering? Wait, I didn't catch that. He might have. Okay. Well, he's in pretty bad shape here. I got a looter on board. And, okay, he's got that. But that only buys him a little bit of time, and I've got another looter, which is going on the board. And then next turn we can play a Ramgak on curve. And this kind of aggression is just hard to deal with if you don't have Library Guards and Protectors, which are the most efficient ways to counter it, because they usually get 2-for-1. They sometimes get fireballed, but the Protector for sure is a 2-for-1, pretty much guaranteed, since you can't just outright kill it in one go. So we've got Ramgak for the finish, I've got Word of Fire and Fire Blast to take care of any threats he might play, and yeah, it's looking pretty good. The Genie is an interesting card, but it's a little bit slow, and I don't think it's gonna help. He can dig for some spells, but down on life and behind on board, I don't think he can really afford that. But maybe he didn't have a Library Guard, or just didn't have better options. Looks like we're gonna... Oh. That's interesting. Oh, I drew another Word of Fire? That's pretty funny, actually. Okay. I guess I just went for the card draw. Makes some sense. Make sure my looter gets through so I can continue drawing cards. Definitely. And we do another 7 damage here. I'm sorry, 8 damage. And we bring him down to 5 life, which is pretty bad in this game, because that means one Dragonfire will be the end. And the only way it looks like he can heal is with the weakness emblems, but that's really slow. There isn't really a creature you can steal from my deck that will make any difference. So it looks like Burke is gonna prevail. Just this kind of aggressive start can often be just enough if the opponent's opening hand isn't very good. Oh, I even just drew the Dragonfire right there. So yeah, that's just how Spellweaver is sometimes. All right, that concludes game 1. On to game 2. This time my Hermelion goes up against his Keanu. We'll see how that goes. That's not a particularly inspired opening hand, though. Probably gonna want to redraw that. It's a little better. We do have a 2-drop. Okay, I need to get going quickly with this deck, because I have to do this before his Overwhelming Forces shenanigans really starts going off. So we'll see what happens in this one. Opens with blue. Alright. We're gonna go for a... I drew a second elf, so I might as well go for elf to get some early board presence. Definitely. And then I can actually follow it up with a Word of Vigor to make them both 3/3s if they both survive. If I don't draw anything better. Oh, New Horizons. So he's kind of going first now. That's what happens whenever you spark a New Horizons. You basically go first instead of going second. That's pretty fair, I guess. We got some damage in. A Word of Vigor looks to be the most likely play, unless I draw something like a Cavalry Field Captain. Or... No, that's really it. Unicorn I don't think I'll bother playing yet. He's got his 3rd aspect. Oh, something's coming. It's either Library Guards or, yeah, Sunchaser Orite. Sunchaser Orite's gonna be pretty tough to deal with. The funny thing about the Orite is there's actually... well, there's some bug, but not only that, the way it's worded is slightly confusing, because it says the Orite has +2 speed this combat. What isn't immediately obvious is that if you don't actually go to combat, it keeps that 4 speed until the next time there is a combat. So right now he could activate it and have 4 speed. He could pass the turn, and then it would keep 4 speed for my turn, and so I couldn't attack it. So that's pretty interesting. So he plays a Drayla, but he keeps it on the front, which leaves it susceptible. Now that I have Elven Sanctuary, I can actually kill it by playing that, and then the Ambush Strike will let me clear his Alright as well. So that's probably going to be pretty good. Drayla is definitely too dangerous to be just allowed to live. Definitely. Yeah, we got a 5-5 and a 4-5, and we get to clear him out, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice indeed. And then I'll keep 1 elf, although I don't have a great follow-up other than Field Captain. Oh, never mind, I just saw the Treant in my hand. Yeah, that's going to be a good card to play. Speaking of Drayla, Drayla is actually an interesting card to use with Keanu, because if you put her under Keanu, then it's like she's on the board, but she's not really on the board. She can't be targeted. And then on the following turn, she comes out, and she's already on the board, and if you have 4 mana, you could just immediately steal something. That's actually pretty neat. I like the application. So he's got another Alright. That's a bit of an issue, because I'm gonna have to use the Cavalry Field Captain to kill it, otherwise it just kills my Ancient Treant for free, and that would be really, really bad. Okay, he's holding on much better than last game, because my board isn't very big yet. I got a Treant, but not much more than that. Not many good and still targets outside of like 2 elves. But I think I'd rather have a Treant than 2 elves to start freezing his stuff. Definitely start freezing those Alrights. Although if you freeze the Alright, it can then give itself 2 speed, I think, and still attack. I believe that's how it works. Oh, there's Drayla going under Keanu. That's pretty bad news for me, actually, since he will have the mana he needs to immediately use it. In fact, he'll have 6 mana, so he'll have enough to just immediately outright steal a creature. So I'm going to need to draw a Tornado Outbreak for sure to break the control of Drayla. Otherwise, I'm just going to be in big trouble. Yeah, 2 elves in the grave, nothing too good, unfortunately. Just play a tree. It's either that or the 2 elves. I guess 2 elves would have been okay too, but the Treant lets me start freezing the board, and that's what I need. Because otherwise that 4-5 Drayla is kind of a problem. It's a problem regardless, because if I attack with the tree, then it is susceptible to being stolen by Drayla. And that's pretty bad news all around. I'm gonna need the Outbreak really, really soon. If I don't get it, I don't think there's any way I can win this game. Not with Drayla on the board. He's probably contemplating whether or not to actually steal that Cavalry Field Captain. Or he could save the mana for next turn. So if I try to attack with a Treant, he could just immediately steal it. And that's pretty bad. That is definitely pretty bad. We'll see what he decides to do. Looks like he's stealing the Captain. Yep. Alright. Goodbye, Captain. It was nice knowing you. Drayla goes in the back. Alright. Now I won't be able to attack her, unfortunately. But, oh, no, never mind. It's on the front. No, it's going to the back. It's going to the back. Oh, wait, it's in the front again. Is it going to the back? No, it's staying in the front. Word of Vigor, it's not, like, terribly useful. But I could instill some stuff and then word up a little. But the problem is, I still can't do anything until I get my, Tornado Outbreak, trying to find my words. I used the word first, which is a little bit of a misplay. But it doesn't matter that much in the grand scheme of things. Whether these are 2/2s or 3/3s. You could just steal the 3/3 anyways. Well, actually, I could have just made them both 3/3. That might have been the optimal play, but it's still pretty bad. Because the Drayla can just keep stealing my stuff. I can't attack at all. Oh, Overwhelming Forces for 3. That could be pretty bad. That could suck. If he hit something like a Karthus. But he hit nothing. Okay, that was pretty lucky for me. But he does get an Alright. So another 5/5 Alright is coming down. How in the world am I going to deal with that? Okay, looks like I'm going to lose a creature here. No, I'm going to lose both of them, but at least I get I get the Captain off the board. which is not really brilliant, but oh well. We absolutely must draw a Tornado Outbreak. That's a Shrine. Okay, Call of Jalaya is nice. Do I have lethal with the hero power? I don't think so, actually. Yeah, I do 16 damage to him. Okay, I guess that's worth using still. I mean, it gets him down to 1 life, so I just need to, like, draw 1 haste creature. Or get another Call of Jalaya for another Fae. We'll see if I get it. Yeah, I have to let Drayla have 2 speed, because if you use a Treant on a creature and then you try to Fae of Charm it, it will not attack, because it has 0 speed. But here's that Sunchaser. So that's pretty bad news for me. Again, it's going to come down to whether or not I draw either an Outbreak, or another Fae, or Call of Jalaya. If I don't, I will certainly lose this game. He's got a lot of mana. Oh, Drayla takes my tree. Can he kill the Fae? Well, actually, I don't think the 1 Fae is not enough, because he's got 2 Sunchasers, and he can almost make 1 of them 4 speed, the one I don't take. So I can't actually get through unless I get another Fae of Charm. Actually, yeah, I don't think Tornado Outbreak is enough, because he also has the Library Guards at 3 speed. We got, oh, I have Elf Scout. That's not very good. He's got how much damage? 8, 12, 14, 19 damage on the board. Yikes. Yikes. That is yikes for sure. Here's actually where I misplay. I decided to go for the attack to get one of his creatures off the board, which is not good, because with the Fae gone, I can't really do a lot. He cannot steal the Fae as long as it doesn't attack, but if it attacks, he can just kill it. And then I need to draw another Fae and then instill. But it would have been good to have the Fae available to attack. Oh well. I wonder if that would even matter. No, all of that only really matters if I actually draw the cards I need. If I don't, I lose regardless. Still contemplating my decisions here. I realize now that I cannot actually kill him, unfortunately, because he has 3 guys who can reach 3 or 4 speed. So I'm going to take his bigger Aurite, so that he has to block it, and then lose the creature, but then he can block my Fae, and I just lose it. Yes, I can instill it, but that only really matters if I get a creature that actually attacks. So that's why this was a misplay, because I now lose my only creature, and he was not able to remove the Fae. But again, it might not even matter at all. At this point, it's very critical. He just needs to do a little bit of damage to me to set up lethal. And the Elf Scout, well, it's a threat, but he can just steal it with Drayla, so it's not groundbreaking. Now, you know, worst comes to worst, just use a Sunchaser Aurite to kill it. Or even attack with a Treant and freeze it. Oh, overwhelming forces for 4. He's not gonna miss this time. Let's see what he gets. Ooh, and a Karthus. That pretty much settles the game. Yeah, that's a ridiculous board I'm looking at right now. Pretty sure I'm dead. Actually, even if I had the Fae, it wouldn't matter, because he just kills the Fae. And then he just runs his Sunchaser into my Elf. So, yeah. Pretty much dead on all fronts. All-out attack. He probably shouldn't attack with everything. He wants to keep a decent amount of blockers. He only needs to do like 6 damage to me to make sure he is lethal. It looks like he's gonna do 8. That's more than enough. That puts me at 13, which is plenty for him to do. He has all 4s and 5s on the board anyways. How many creatures is it gonna be? It's gonna be 3. So, yeah, it's looking pretty dead for me. 3 shrines is just not very good. Did I actually draw a Fae? No, Captain. Okay, what's the next card? And rip. Oh, well. Yeah, I wasn't gonna draw what I needed, so misplay, forgiven. Now let's see how this last game goes. Well, I mean, I do win this game because I went on to get to the final. But it's not the what, it's the how that counts. Oh, here's the first Mist Divine offering of the night. Oh, there will be many more. So I have to start with Order, so I can't play my Scout, and I can't play Word of Vigor the next turn. That blows. The good news is he's playing a much slower deck. So if I can get a decent board going, he will not be able to deal with it. Because he doesn't look like he runs much removal. Other than, well, Karthus, obviously, but nothing like medium. No medium removal. No, I didn't see an Assassinate last game. So this actually looks very similar to Keanu. But it's, Wisdom Dominion. What do we got? I can't actually play anything. I'm gonna have to just start with the trees. Which is a pretty fine start, but it's nice to have a body on the board. There's a card which I used to run in this deck, which I have taken out. Maybe I shouldn't have, and that was the Elite Vanguard. The 2 aspect 2 mana 3/3. It was decent because it was a fairly large body, and you could instill it for a 3/3, and that was pretty effective. I think I cut it for more early game, but I probably could replace some of my ambushing strikes with that card, just to have more bodies to play. Just to have more creatures, really. That's what I should have definitely done. Because ambushing strike isn't doing much these games. It's just a finisher, but I should not be running 4 of it. So that's a lesson, but it looks like the trees and phase are just going to carry this deck. He hits face. He realizes he can't do anything about the tree. Is he going to play anything else? What, Drayla? No, it's Jin. Okay, that's fine. I can handle that. I'd be quite sad if it was the Drayla. So we got a second tree on the board. That's pretty strong. I can just start freezing his board permanently. And 2 trees, plus the hero power is going to be loads and loads of damage. And with the coming Fae of Charm, it's already looking really bad for him. See, if this deck just develops any kind of a board, it's really dangerous. It's when you can't develop a board when the issues arise because, well, you can't do anything. Your hero power is useless when you're behind. Almost always. Not always, though, because sometimes you do get that ambushing sharpshooter and a Fae of Charm, and then you can use your hero power and, like, do a lot of damage. Potentially. That's why I put the sharpshooter in the first place. Da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. By the way, if you want the actual deck lists and all that, and me explaining exactly why you chose the cards, I'll link my other videos where I specifically talk about these decks. But it should be pretty self-explanatory for most of the creatures that I'm playing. Yeah, kills the lamp. That's really rough. There isn't really any cards in any of these decks that are, like, surprising. So, maybe that's not even necessary, actually. The Jin is searching for spells. Oh, man. Does he find one? Will it even help him? What kind of spells does he run? I mean, he's got New Horizons. Overwhelming Forces, I think. That looks pretty dead for him. I mean, his board is frozen. I got a whole lot of damage on the board. And with a hero power, that's lethal for sure. Can he play Karthus? No, he can't play Karthus. Karthus might actually have saved him if he could play this turn. But he cannot. Okay. Now we get to see how this deck really is supposed to function. But yeah, definitely should have used more creatures to make sure I actually have a board to begin with. I would keep Word of Vigor though, because I do like the extra card draw, and the buffs are really strong. If you buff up your 2/2 elf to a 3/3, you can kill a library guard. That's pretty nice. And again, the card draw, it's just too good of a card, I think, not to run. 4 mana. What can he do for 4? I don't think there's anything he can do. Oh, New Horizons, yeah. And another Protector, but yeah, no, there's no way. Not with 2 trees. 2 trees and the hero power can freeze 4 things. And because I have the Fae of Charm as well, it means that even if he did put up a really large creature, it would just be going straight to his face. Like a Phoenix, that would just go right at him. Yep, with the Fae. Well, it's not lethal, but with the hero power it will be. So that's the first round. I managed to survive against PewQ. I breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that, hey, I get to move just a little bit further. Because when I just started out with this tournament, I was not expecting to get very far. I kind of just picked the new heroes because I wanted to see them in action more than anything. That's why I picked Hermelion, where everybody else is picking like Zash, Elrike, Dominion, and all that. Alrighty. Smogan is the second round. We are going to open with Burke. He's got Darius. We got double Looter. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. We got Goblin Warrior to open things up. Maybe a Word of Fire. But what's Word of Fire gonna kill? Only like a Disquisitive Spirit that he could play, but that's not gonna happen. Be nice to get another 1-drop or a 2-drop to get a nice board going here. But I'm not gonna cry if I don't get it. No, he's coining. New Horizons. I'm sorry, Sparking. So he's gonna go first now. Okay, got a Shrine. Do I get a 2-drop? Nope. We'll just swing and face then. His other aspect is red, so it's probably just your standard Wisdom Rage, mid-range value. I don't know what that deck is called. It saw a lot of play. Like, Wisdom and Rage is a really nice combo. Oh, there's a Word of Fire. Never mind. We're gonna go looting. We're gonna go loot the place. Give me that card. I want all the cards. What do we got? Oh, there's the 2-drop I wanted. Fireworker. Not know if it's gonna kill any artifacts, but hey, you never know. Kinda don't want to run into a Thea right now, because then I just lose the guy for free, even if I actually got a card out of it. Okay. So we could Fireball that, or we could even Word of Fire. Oh, we got a 1-drop, so we're gonna Fireball for sure, and then yeah, play the 1-drop. That's pretty efficient, and we get another card, so that's good. And we drew Gibbo and Brony. That's a pretty good card to have. Bronies are always helpful, and Gibbos are helpful as well. Oh, a Phoenix. That's a bit of an issue. That's a bit of a stumbling block in my operation. We do have 2 Words of Fire that can kill it, and that'll let me continue doing damage and drawing cards. That's probably what I should do, actually. Because, oh, I guess I didn't do that. I go for another Looter. Okay, so I'm going to let him have 1 Looter for free. Strange. I don't remember why I made this decision, but it's probably not terrible. Ramgak, that's nice. 3 Words of Fire in the hand. All the draws all day, every day. If he plays a second Phoenix, that's going to be an issue, because I can't really remove that many Phoenixes efficiently. Not Word of Fire clears that. Does he have another removal card? Kills the Looter. Okay. He's got a bunch of cards. He's doing actually pretty fine against me right now. I can't really kill the Phoenix outside of double Word of Fire. But at least I get to draw 2 cards in the process and continue to do damage. Yeah, looks like we're gonna do it. It's the only way to kill it. It rebirthed! Now it's dead. Okay, it's dead for sure this time. Oh, that eats a Fireball. Oh no. There's one idea I've been trying, kind of thinking about, is to combine the Phoenix with Energy Gain, because once the Phoenix comes back, if you could give it 3 more energy, hey, that's another Phoenix. But there's not a good way to do that, really. Force Wielder is the only way, because the Thaumic Laboratory Hero Power only actually gives you 2. So it would take too long, I think. And Astral Dive also only gives you 2. So there's not a really efficient way to do it other than Force Wielder. But that's actually pretty cool. It lets you basically reload your Phoenix. That's a pretty neat idea. Okay, he's got 4 mana. Red Dragons are going to be dangerous. Silencer is going to be just fatal if I don't have a good board. Oh, I got 3 more Gibbo and Bronies. A lot of Bronies. That's pretty good news. Well, we can play Ramgak on curve, though. That's pretty big deal. 5 damage? Yeah, that's probably the better play. Because it might get Fire Blasted, but at least it gets 5 damage in. Bringing him down to 13. It's better than just Gibbo and Brony. And it's a better use of mana, too. Is it Fire Blast? Well, it's a Library Guard. That could still be a Fire Blast. Silencer would also kinda suck. Wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would be just kind of annoying. Oh, Disquisitive Spirit. 2 Disquisitive Spirits. Oh, man, that Fire Blast I just sent away. Oh, how great it would be right now. How good that Fire Blast would be right now to just clear out those spirits. That's actually really disappointing. That's a real stumbling block, actually. Because all his stuff is 3 speed. I was just going to double Gibbo and Roni here. And then Goblin just go all out. Yeah, looks like it. And we're swinging face. Yeah, you can double block Gibbo and Roni and get 2 more draws out of it. I'm pretty much dead to Fire Blast here, but I don't have a choice, because if I don't attack, he's just gonna get bigger and bigger creatures, and he's gonna start rolling Silencers, and then I'm just completely dead. So we kinda have to gamble here. Wow, he clears 5 creatures with Fire Blast. That's ridiculous. But maybe, if he doesn't have it, hey, maybe I can win. That's probably the only way I'm gonna win. Just push damage. More and more and more damage. I'm guessing he doesn't have it. Or he would have just immediately played it. Oh, I forgot to end the turn. My mistake. I do that sometimes. Is he gonna immediately play it? Okay, he took longer than 2 seconds to think about it, so he does not have it. He could draw into it with his hero power, though. That could be a thing. And that leaves him 5 mana to play a Silencer. Yeah, if he plays Fire Blast Silencer, I just totally lose. But if not, hey, maybe I don't lose. He's contemplating his choices because he's facing a lot of damage. He has to make the right decision here. With his, what is it, 9 cards? Yeah, lots of cards. Lots and lots and lots of cards. He's got a Phoenix. And a New Horizons. For, what, a 3rd Rage? Why does he need 3 Rage? I think he's just doing it to look cool. Yeah, he's definitely doing it to look cool. Because that's pretty cool. Alright, so we've got a nice board. I guess we just Gibbo and Brony here and go all out. I'm still gonna be pretty dead to that Fire Blast, but at this point we just gotta hope for the best. He didn't draw it in the last 4 cards. Maybe he won't draw it again. Really gambling here, but that's about all I can do right now. Got him down to 6. I can get him down to 5 with Fia, and then I just need Dragonfire or another Fireball to finish it off. Or if he doesn't draw Fire Blast, I'll just win. Because he can't deal with this much damage. Ooh, and there is that Fire Blast. Okay, well, we're going to need to top deck a Fireball or Dragonfire. Ugh. Yeah, that's pretty bad. At this point, we have to draw a Dragonfire and another, like, a mana card that I could actually use. Oh, that's a mana card I can use. That's actually exactly 5 between those 3 cards. But again, only Dragonfire gets me out of this. Everything else is just It's just death. He's gonna have too much damage. Ooh, there's a lamp. There's a lamp number 2. So he can do quite a bit of damage to me. Certainly enough to put me down to lethal. Oh, he swings all out. Well, actually, he has enough mana for the lamps to block, so that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I got 2 chances to draw Dragonfire. If I don't, I just straight up lose. That's not a Dragonfire. That's also not a Dragonfire. Congratulations. Game goes to Smogan. Double Lamp Silencer ownage. Yeah, let me just find the concede button real quick. Alright, let's move on to game 3. Now, I'm sorry, it's game 2. Why did I say game 3? This is game 2. Okay, we got a double looter. That's pretty good. Oh, and we drew a lizard. That's pretty strong. We're mostly worried about... No, this is the Keanu Reanimator, I think. So as long as he doesn't get a ridiculous board, we should be fine. Let's see if he uses his hero power immediately to get a big creature on the board. Possibly a Library Guard? Either that or just play the Force Mage Protector. What's it gonna be? It's gonna be the power for... Oh, it's an airship. This airship Explorer this time. But luckily we drew the Fireworker, so we can just take care of it immediately. So that's not a big deal. And we get a card while doing some damage. Another Shrine, that's pretty good. So that 2/6 is gonna have to leave the board pretty soon, because it's not only cycling his deck and setting up shenanigans, but it's also just pretty much an unkillable blocker. I'd have to send 2 fireballs at it, and that's really bad. So now I should use the Fireworker, play it for 2 mana, second for the 3rd mana, and just get it off the board. Otherwise, it's gonna block something. Now I guess we kill it. Oh yeah, he didn't shield it for some reason. That might be why I did it, actually, because if I can get it off the board without him having used a shield, then that's pretty good value. I still lose a looter, but we got more damage in. He uses the ability, of course. He's gonna cycle his hand. Probably drop something really big in the graveyard. Yeah, that was an Antriel that just went down there. That's not too bad, though. He still needs some time before he can get his engine going. So we gotta use the Fireworker now for sure. That 2/6 is gonna just start getting free kills all over the board. And I can't play 2 looters because he just blocks both of them. That would be awful. So we get that off the board. We get 4 more damage in. Bring him down to 10. And then if he doesn't put up a decent creature to defend, double looter is gonna just draw me lots of cards. And that's gonna be pretty good. Or I could do looter and Roni. Oh, Antriel. That's not what I wanted to see right now. I think we still double looter. Yeah, we're gonna double looter here because we want as much cards as possible. He only gets 1 life off of the looter, so it's not like that bad. But in hindsight, I should have left something to defend so that his Antriel can't hit my face next turn. Because if he does, he'll just gain 6 life instead of the 1 he got off killing the goblin. But we got a Dragonfire in the hand. That's pretty good. He's gonna go up to 12 after this attack. But I've got 6 mana in the hand. Oh, there's a Library Guard, so that's gonna be a bit of an obstacle. If we just Fireball it. No, that's not lethal. We're gonna have to play Gibbo and Brony for sure, because I need some creatures to block the Antriel from attacking. Otherwise, it's gonna be 6 life every turn, and then I'll just lose. Okay, another Shrine. Oh, Word of Fire, that's very nice. But we can't use it yet. We gotta Fireball the guard, and then Looter up. I'm sorry, Gibbo and Brony up. We don't have looters. And we get another card, so that's important. Gotta get all the value we can get. Got him down to 7. Okay. He's gonna get one more through Antriel, putting him at 8. And then I just need to do 3 damage. Yeah, that's not gonna be a problem at all. I can just Word of Fire the Library Guard, and then at least 7 of my creatures get through. 7 damage worth of creatures gets through, and that'll be enough. Unless he doesn't attack the looter. In which case, only 6. But because I have Dragonfire, I have basically an insurance policy. In case of trouble. There's Antriel attacking in. We gotta block so she doesn't give him like loads of life. But she only gives him 1. So that's fine. New Horizons. That's not a problem. He does have 4 aspects now, but he's dead, unfortunately, because... Oh, Ramgak, wow. Just the Dragonfire is enough to finish him off. It looks like I'm just BMing at this point, because I have a very easy... I just play any one of these 3 cards, and it'll do. It looks like I'm going to go for the Dragonfire. He gets 1 more life off of the Library Guards, but he's down to 5, which is exactly lethal. Alrighty. That takes care of that. And now round 3, the final one. It's gonna be his Reanimator against my Hermelion. This should be interesting. That's not a great opening hand. But we got at least a 2-drop. That's a start. And then 2-drop into the Captain. Into Fae, perhaps. Into Instill. I probably won't need to instill anything yet. But it doesn't hurt to have that. He probably plays nothing. I haven't seen him play any 1-drops or anything. And he's probably going to want to save his Spark for the hero power. Makes sense. Alright, let's elf it up over here. And then Captain it up for 3 damage. Makes sense. I probably won't actually get to kill anything, but I just want to develop a board. And doing a little bit of damage here and there definitely doesn't hurt. Hero power, here we go. What's he getting? Library Guards? Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. But then he's gonna run into, he's actually gonna run into the Fae of Charm. Because I can play it next turn to take his Library Guard and hit him in the face. He'll take another 7. That's actually really, really bad for him. Because I didn't see him play any removal, so how is he going to deal with the Fae? I don't think he can. And if the Fae can just keep poking him in the face with his own creatures, that's an issue. Go for the 3rd aspect. A 2nd Fae of Charm. That's pretty brutal. Yeah, that's 7 right there. That brings him down to 15. Threatening lethal already with the hero power. But he's certainly going to kill at least 1 of my creatures. So, it's not going to be lethal. Well, actually, it could be. Because I'm going to have 2 Faes. No, no way it's lethal. He has 15 life. I can't use the Fae and hero power. I mean, I can't play a 2nd Fae and use the hero power. And I definitely want to play a 2nd Fae instead of using a hero power. He hits the Cavalry Field Captain, which is a good decision because since I don't have mana, I can't retreat it. Although, on the other hand, you could argue, well, Elven Sanctuary is a thing. That is true. That is a thing. And if I had it, I would use it. So, yeah, we get to steal both, and we do another 7 damage. Or 8, even. So now he's just down to 7, and he's facing down 2 Faes. He could only really be saved by a Karthus, I think. Killing 1 Fae. But that might not even be enough because I can just instill. Well, if he played a Karthus, kill the Fae, he can kill the dude. Maybe he'd survive. Maybe. Probably not, though. Not because of the hero power. I think he wouldn't. Okay, he attacks with the other Guardian. I suppose it makes sense, because it was just gonna get stolen anyways. But the problem is, I can just steal the 2 guys that aren't exhausted, and then he can't block at all. Yep, that's just gonna be lethal right there. But there's just nothing you can do about the face. His deck takes a while to get going, but in the meantime, annoying support row creatures are gonna be annoying, and there is no more annoying support row creature than Fae of Charm. It wins that medal with style. So, yeah, that's gonna be 2-1 in my favor. Okay, so that's the end of part 1. In part 2, we go up against Pedro and Kindle. Get ready for some crazy games.